Merry Christmas. So happy to be here. And one of the best presents anybody can have on Christmas is Kelly. And
Oh,
Kelly's here to share, and, in a lot of ways, kind of review, reflect. And we came up with the word gifts because that's what we feel all of you and all of us are, is a gift to each other, from each other. And we're seeing the benefits of what those gifts can do if you bring them into your thought and into your ability to reinvent yourself on a continuous basis. So I'm so excited. Chat's wide open, feel free. Omar's here already,
oh
and
my,
the word of the day is gifts. Good morning, guys. Have a great holiday. Thank you, Omar. Omar was our guest host yesterday, did a fabulous job. And I was on Omar's show, and it's a fabulous show, Zoom party. And I think that's the key is referring what you think has value or believe to other people have yet to discover it, and whether it's an idea or a person or a situation, that's all for the good. So thank you, Omar, for coming today. And with that, I want to swing it over to Kelly and hear what Kelly has to say about gifts.
yeah. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. And Merry Christmas, everyone. I mean, what a gift to be able to be here, truthfully, for so many reasons. And my first thoughts on the word gift today was truthfully, Mr. Don Cohen. What a gift you are to everyone on LinkedIn, and how many of us you have impacted this year in so many ways by what you do and what you bring with your gifts, and how you help shine a light on our gifts that maybe we didn't even see ourselves. So those are my initial thoughts.
Wow, Kelly. I mean, I could end the show right there and be happy. And we're fortunate we got another 57 minutes to go. And, you know, it is people that help people become a better person themselves. And I know it, and I couldn't have done this without Kelly. I really couldn't have. And if I did, it would have never turned out the way it is, right? It would have been whatever it was. And the bigger thing is we didn't really build on things, we built on attributes,
Yeah.
so there wasn't like a plan or definitely not a financial plan. It was really a people empower plan. How do you really allow people to elevate in an hour and get in a better position than they were, just like an elevator, before they started? And it works all the time because it's available to work like that. But it's also the people who facilitate. I can't thank enough, Catherine's, Leslie's, Beverly's, Harvey's, Christine, Christy, Omar, Dennis, Renadeb, everybody who has come in and brought something special with them. And I think that's what a gift is, when someone brings you something special with them, not just the thing, but the person with the thing. Or, how many times the simplest gift that really cost nothing was so dear to your heart, right? If it was a young nephew or niece that made something in school, I mean, that's much better than Cartier because it's a one of a kind, right? It's a unique. So I think when people really look at what touches their heart and not what calculates in their brain first, and your brain will always have enough time to catch up and get involved. But it's getting that feeling first and then building from that. I think that's important. And that's what this show does, I believe, is attract people who are still innocent enough to want to trust, not sure enough to want to investigate what's new and what they can do better, being teachable, and being positive, bringing a better, like Kelly says, a stronger light that people can't help but see, and that resonates. So, anyways, maybe we get off a little bit on reflection, but it is that time of year. But I'll go through. And Dennis is here. Good morning. Donna's a gift to us all. Well, thank you, Dennis. And you know what's so beautiful is sincerity.
Mm.
When you actually believe and know it's sincere versus casual, superficial, and nothing wrong with that if that's all there is. Maybe it's a beginning to where you want to be. But I think it is alignment and resonating and supporting.
Mm.
If it supports you, you need to support it to be supportable. Renata says, Merry Christmas to everyone from my side. Renata's all in India. I can only imagine the time, and has the interest to stay up and participate and share. And that's what's so cool. Don, you're in red and well read for Christmas, and next year I will get a Santa hat. I wasn't planning. Agreed, a gift is not only an item, but can be an idea or support. A
Yeah.
smile is a gift in the right way.
Yes.
Anything that will take somebody off of something they wouldn't choose to want to be on to somewhere else where it's more comfortable. Life is all about transportation. You're always moving. If
Yep.
you're living, right, you're always up doing something. And gifts can be given by Santa Claus or by God is important for everyone. And gifts, take them for what they are, a gift. There are a lot of Christian families in India, and I think gifts are universal benefits that everybody can have, and some gifts are just gifts of freedom, gifts of joy, well wishes is a gift. So, when someone says, I don't have enough for a gift, the question becomes, are you enough for a gift? Right?
Mm.
Because everybody has something to give, even if it's just a joke. So with that, Kelly, a lot of coverage in a short period of time. What's going on?
Yeah, so beautiful, and I think that's so spot on because a gift, and I think it was Omar that said this initially, but everybody else kind of went on this as well, including you, Don. Is gifts aren't necessarily the best gifts aren't necessarily the materialistic things. They're the things that make you feel something. The gifts that you remember the most, and I can say this for me, and you're right, like my nephews is when they would, just do a drawing when they were little that were scribbles, but and maybe wrote their name, but they were so proud to give it and so excited and to see your reaction to receiving it, to watch, the smiles and the hugs and the kisses and how it made them feel. It's about the moment. It's not about the thing. And I think this is a great time, of year. And we should remember this always because this is about every day is about, and we've said this on many shows, and I'm sure we'll continue to say it on other shows, is people don't remember necessarily what you said or what you gave them. They remember how you made them feel. And that's a gift. Like to be able to touch people. And I know Don, you didn't choose this word in any way to be about you, but you are a gift to so many of us because you have been a conduit for a lot of us to go on to things that we maybe never even thought we could do. And again, I can speak for that myself. If you would have told me this time last year that I would have done over 100 lives, started my own show, and have made such incredible connections with people, true connections, meaningful connections, and friendships. I mean, it's such a gift, and there's no price for that. And those are the things that we should all reflect on and maybe look forward to next year. Hey, I need to do a little bit more of that in my life. Do things that truly matter because it's not about a transaction. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to remember it. Um, it's going to be so much more than that. So maybe making it that you're going to be a gift to others and what you do. And this is a smidge, a little bit of a toot my own horn, I guess, is I was not feeling a lot of light, love, and things in the world, which is why I started doing lives, for one, and then definitely was the reason I started the Awesome Journey. And doing that has brought me a gift that there is no price tag for, because it's brought me so much joy, so much connection, and meaningful relationships that cannot be purchased or replaced with anything else. Um, so those are my thoughts right now.
Well, that's so kind of you and so thoughtful. And I think that's a rarity in the world for people to be comfortable, to be peaceful, to extend an arm of support, or at least an ear. And I think that's what we have here is an ear that's open to listening and hearing people's stories. Again, with the framework of respect and not really judging. Uh, it's rare, and what it does show is we're on to something that works.
Hmm.
Kelly's proven it, Harvey's proven it, I proved it, and I came in with nothing, nobody, I didn't put a dime into it. It was all me, myself, and I. But it took enough time for Tara Gooch to get hold of me. And she did 6 months of Fridays, and she just blew up, on Forbes magazine and doing TED Talks and writing books and traveling everywhere. And she had never done a live stream before.
Yep.
Right. And what happens is when you prove yourself to experience something you never thought was possible with as little effort and expense, just time, to get to know people, to get to be someone that you always wanted to be. And then you get an audience, and then more importantly, you get a community. So, and that's what we're doing is if you really have a great gift, the best you can do with it is share it. Right? If someone gave you a huge cake, the best thing you do is make sure it gets eaten by everybody who you think would just love a slice of this or deliver a slice, right,
Mm-hmm.
to everybody. But here's the thing, and that's why me and Kelly are putting our heads together and Harvey's getting involved, is how do we get people on these shows to create their own personalized, and this is not a sales pitch, why be in the audience when you're no different than we are?
That's
When you
right.
get on the stage and you know what? You'd be surprised how much voice you have once you let it out. And how
Hmm.
many memories come back and how many stories come back. And pretty soon you are an authority on you, right? And you want to make sure that you can add value from your experience in return to listen to other people in front of so many other people. So
Hmm.
it's exponential in ways. And then it's not, this is the beginning. From here, this thing could be heard 500 years from now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is for legacy. And I was just talking with Omar yesterday, and he struck on the same thing I was saying, is I wish my grandparents or great grandparents left me hundreds of hours of,
Yes.
of them being in their element with their group and really mixing it up. I mean, I would watch that show right before I'd watch anything else on TV. And I probably
Yeah.
watch it again. And, maybe the hope is someone will take that and repurpose it, right? And create those playlists and those shorts that you always want to. But, that would be something you'd really feel good about doing while you're doing it, where you're gifting into the future now.
Hmm.
Some people don't gift into the present. Why not give a gift that more people can benefit from? So, anyways, Omar says, agreed. A gift is not only an item, but can be an idea or support. I think we covered some of that. I'll just get last one from Nadeb. Receiving a thoughtful gift can uplift a person's spirits and contribute to their overall well-being. Well, why don't you speak to that?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of what we talk about on the awesome journey is focused, or the core comes from excuse me, mental health support, because we all need that at some point in our life. And today is one of those days. A gift doesn't have to be something that you purchase. A gift could be sending that text message to someone that hasn't heard from you in a while, or that you haven't heard from in a while. And I say this an awful lot, and I think it's so important, not just every day of the week, regardless of the holiday season, but I think the holiday season exacerbates um, some people's loneliness, unfortunately. But it's true. If you haven't heard from someone, send them a message, check on them. That's a gift, because you never know how your message will make someone feel. Because we're going to go back to that, right? It's about how it makes people feel. Um, and I don't want to put down, hey, anybody who got someone a Cartier watch, God bless you. But it's not going to be about the thing. It's going to be about how people felt in the moment, and how they forever feel. I think the only things, material things that I put value on are things that make me feel what reminds me of something of the past. Last Christmas, and this is kind of a silly, but not in a way of growing up, my brother and I, it wasn't officially Christmas until we put on our Christmas tree this little tiny finger puppet that's a bear. I mean, and we have no idea why. Like, we don't know where it came from, why it existed, but it wasn't officially Christmas until that went on. And it was the feeling that we had about this season in that moment with our family. And I passed it on to my brother's boys, because my nephews both got married in the last 3 years, which I can't believe that's happened. And I needed to have, like, y'all need to have the Steinica little finger puppet bear that's been around and meant so much to us. And I cried when I gave it to them, not because I was sad necessarily, but it was because it was transcending a tradition and a feeling. And I do remember my oldest nephew saying, he was touching it, and because he never met my dad, so he doesn't know his grandfather. And he said, it's just cool to hold something that he touched and that he had. And so to have that feeling and take it forward, those are the gifts. Those are the things, at least to me, that we will remember. It's not about a specific gift. It is always about the feeling that's behind it, regardless of what it is, and how silly. Because I bet that little bear can't be worth probably 15 cents. Although now in today's economy, it's probably like $4 or $5. But it's because of what it means to everyone and how it makes them feel, and that's a gift that you pass on. And I don't know, those are the beautiful things to me at the holidays, and what makes them special, and the moment special. Um, so those are my thoughts right now.
Yeah, I think they're beautiful thoughts, and I think, you have the gift of not only expressing them, but making people feel them. And some people can say things, but it doesn't impact people the same way as when other people say things. And to your point, it's really being the presenter, not the present, that counts. I mean, how many people pick a flower off of somebody's lawn right before they're picking their date up, right? And
Uh,
they don't have money for anything, but they have a flower.
and
And
that is so sweet, right? Those are the things that you go, you thought of me and you went and did that. It feels more personal for some reason, right?
yeah, and you decided that it was, you're right. It was sweet for someone to think and do it
Yeah.
versus someone just to give you a whole bunch of flowers without looking at you and say, here, find some water for them. I mean, and I think that's what we're able to do is some things you spread through your family, but a lot you spread through strangers, that you say something nice in the grocery store, and then they say something nice to their kids when they get home, right?
Yep.
Because you made them feel better. Now they're acting better.
Yep.
So, to brighten something, you need to share the light and believe that it could continue. And that's where your return on your investment on earth is, right? Is how did you make the log pile bigger and you found it every day? How did you, because you can, it's a gift. And we're talking about gifts. Some people have a gift of humor. Wherever they go, it's going to be a fun place wherever you're around them, because that's what they do. And I think that's so important, is while people are waiting for something, why not just do the something that you're waiting for something to allow you to do? Bypass the materialistic side of it
Mm-hmm.
and exchange whatever you're having to work for to the time you can now help yourself and help other people. And then eventually you'll get uh, so
Uh,
much resources, you won't know what to do with it, right? Because of prioritizing what's important. And, if you're going to build, you got to remember foundation. You don't just put a skyscraper up, you got to build a foundation. And it's not very pretty, it's not very exciting. No one really shows you pictures of the foundation unless you're an engineer or something. Everybody's looking at the model that's above ground. But it takes so much longer to put that in, and then everything goes up a lot faster. So, it's building on sand or building on rock, building on goodness, that if nothing else, you're having fun, you're learning, you're around good people. And,
yeah.
and then it's whatever you want it to be, which is all anybody should want, is what they want it to be. And you shouldn't have to compete or do things that other people are doing that's not right, or it's not the timing. But at the same time, you shouldn't put yourself in neutral when you got a drive gear and an open highway, and you can enjoy yourself if that's what you think you can use. So, Randy says the best present you can give is to be present in the presence of who you are with. You know,
Amen.
and that's everything.
So
Because
true.
why are you here if we're not here to do better together? Why didn't we wait, when you were happier, or when you didn't come, and that's really, I think, most people, they just have to carry a mirror around for the other people in their life, and the sooner you show people who they are and who they're projecting, the easier it might be to make some changes. So I think the key is influencing people in an honest way, in the most positive way, but getting them on the right path, or getting yourself on the right path as soon as possible,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think being proactive, having a voice, sharing it, and the more you share it, the easier it is to share, and the less you care what you say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm as comfortable as anything with anybody now, and in some cases ahead of the curve, because they're still intimidated by things, on camera or live. They get over it quick, but until then, they're in that challenging area. And the other thing is, you get to know people, but you get to know yourself with those people. And then you have a determination, right? Is this person somebody I can't wait to be on the calendar with? Is this somebody I know? I know me and Kelly, like with Dennis, I was a student the whole time, of the stuff that he has done and what he's doing and how he's doing it. And that's unbelievable how you can just choose teachers, experienced people who do things you could only dream of. And they're showing up and they're talking right with you in front of everybody. And you're initiating, you're facilitating, you're promoting. And I think, what me and Kelly have done too is being totally unselfish to anybody we're with on the show. Because I'm here all the time. I have no reason to steal any more spotlight brand thing. It's like, hey, if you can get your message out, everybody kind of knows mine. And I think that duplicates because how people get brought in is how they bring people in. And that's why I know what Harvey's show is doing. It's not only Harvey being successful, he's bringing people on the stage that would have never got there, would have
Mm,
never known the opportunity, who will then end up having their own shows and more events. And it's really first adopters. You know, I've never been in a business opportunity like this because there's no cost of goods, there's no transportation, there's no returns, you know, and it's whatever you want to use, and they give you a billion people to choose from,
yeah.
and really
Only a
you know, and you get to send them all kinds of stuff all day long if you want to. It's
yeah.
up to your finger to decide how many times you want to send something and what you want to send. And I think, we've seen what it can do in the first year. When I look at businesses, how many businesses take 2, 3 years to get cash flow positive if you're talking about a foundation, right? If you're lucky. This is just time and thought. And if we can accelerate things together, if we
Mm,
can make this more of a working, let's go to work, we already know, love, and trust each other, right? What can we do that we're already doing? And it's getting easier to share what we're doing and create more events, more shows. I mean, this is going to be the launching pad to do this by plan instead of by accident, to get someone in, get somebody up, get somebody geared up with their branding. I mean, there's so much cool stuff here, you know,
yes.
that if you can add it to someone's individual cool stuff, and that's where their style, that's where their theme comes in. What do you dream about? Well, that's your show.
Yeah.
Live your dream, start acting your dream. If Beverly's women over 55 empowerment, if that's what really gets you up and makes you motivated, everybody's got something. It could be summer hats, or it could be like Debbie Clements, right? Butterfly hour.
Yeah.
There's plenty of butterfly people. So, without getting too far off, Renadeb says gift giving also has economic significance. It contributes to consumer spending, stimulates economic activity, especially during
Right.
festive season. Yeah, you're so right. And for the people who really don't have the resources, there's something to regifting, right? There's something to having a picture that you think somebody might want that's sitting in your photo album, or just sharing a memory of somebody's, like Kelly says, somebody's family member who you knew really well and they never knew at all. And you just said, let me share a story or even write a story. So, people have a treasure chest
Hmm.
of goodness. And I think it's because people are so particular in how they give it out. It's like you gotta go to Mars and back to earn something from somebody, like a compliment, or someone tells you they love you, which is hard for a lot of people. And sometimes you got to get over yourself. I mean that.
Oh, yeah.
You I mean that's so important. Randy says hello. Had to open a notification to see that you were even here. Okay, and with that, Kelly, I mean, this has been a great topic. Gifts on Christmas. I
Yeah.
think everybody can relate to it. So, looking back, what was one of your most special gifts that you ever received on Christmas?
Ooh, that's a rough one. Um, this is going to be something that costs nothing. Um, because and gosh, it might make me cry just telling it. One of them, the first thing that popped to my mind was one of my nephews. Uh, he at Christmas at grandma's, we were at my mom's house, and um, he couldn't have been but 4, maybe. And him saying to me, I don't have children. I don't know that we've ever really talked about that for no reason, but I don't have children. I love children. My nephews never understood that I was an adult, which I always thought was the greatest gift ever because they thought I was a kid, which was wonderful because I was the auntie that when I showed up, we bounced on the beds. I gave them candy. We wrestled, all those things because I was present in the moment. Because those were the things that I remembered from being a kid and totally treasured. Losing my father at a young age made me cherish certain things differently. Because when you lose someone, particularly tragically, it does change your mindset on what you look at in life. And so my little 4-year-old nephew, who's been on the show, Blake Steinica, love him to pieces. He said that I didn't love like an auntie. And I was sort of like, what? At first. And he said, you love more like a mom. And I sobbed because the way that the gift of love to someone else and when they reflect it back on you, I mean, that's sort of an eye opener. And kids have a way of their innocence and they're just being they are only present in the moment because that's all they know. They don't know anything else. And I think that's one of my very favorite gifts ever. Um, but also just both my nephews is them, running to the door and being in a chase to who could get to my lap first or to my hugs first. And not wanting me to leave. When I walked into the room, everything else was trumped, and that was the best feeling ever. And again, it goes back to the whole thing. It's not about the things; it's about the feelings. And as I sit here and say they're both married now, which and they have the most amazing wives. I couldn't have chosen better for them, but to think like that feels like it was yesterday. Like, how did all this time go by so fast? And I think, this is the time of year to be like, these are gifts. Every day is a gift. And we never know when our last day will be. And kind of to go off of what you were saying a little bit earlier, Don, was losing my father at a young age, one of the things that with my family and friends, I always hang up and the last words I ever say are, I love you, always. Because I want to know if ever anything were to happen, I always want those to be the last words that were said. And and some may think like, God, that sounds sort of morbid. No, it's not, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow, each day, and that's why it's called the present. It's a gift. Um, and think of it that way. And also to go off a little bit what you were saying about people coming on and doing a live is sometimes we don't recognize our own gifts and what we have to bring the world because we're too judgmental of ourselves or we're afraid of the judgment we may receive. But everybody's a gift because all of our stories, and this has come up on several things over the last week, which is so interesting on other shows as well, is everybody's story matters. And sometimes people think, oh, well, my story is just ho hum, like I'm not special. And that's not true because it connects with someone and it will make a difference in someone's life. And that is a gift. All the things that we go through in our lives aren't always fun and they're not always pretty. Um, but I do believe, and this is my belief in faith, is everything is for a reason, and it is to be able to help someone else. Over the years, me being able to talk to people about tragic loss in family or talking about domestic violence, that's made a difference in someone else's life. And that's the gift of what we go through in our lives. And yeah, so that's sort of where I'm at now is we all matter. We just have to be present in those moments. And we are a gift to someone else, even when we don't feel like we are.
Well, that's beautiful, and I'm glad I asked that favorite gift because, you know, it regifts that gift to others because it shares the feeling and extends it, right? So your nephews at the time didn't realize what an innocent couple sincere, honest, heartfelt words were for and accomplished that directly, but then continued the domino effect of it through you to others, and then adjusting even thoughts and feelings to a little bit that is not something people will remember forever, but it was enough to make them remember something good. And you're right. You know, they say live every day like it's your last because one day it will be. And I always say goodbye to everybody as if I'll never see them again. But I'm also so happy when I do see them again, right? It's like, hey, if this is goodbye, how do we want to say goodbye? When my mother was, we were honored to have her live with us her last 2 years. Every night I would make sure I left her with a smile. You know, I always knew a joke that would really get her excited. It's the same joke every day, and she just would always laugh at it, you know? And you know, you want to take a picture in that moment, you know, and spend time engraving it so you can take it out one day and have her cheer you up again. Have
Mhm.
her be there with you because you can reinvent the feeling, you
Yeah.
know, and share it with yourself. So every word we ever come up with has to start with you. How do you gift yourself? What gifts do you give yourself? You know, how are you the presenter of everything that so far very few people are, but you can do it. You can make yourself feel happy. And I think the more we talk about, when I think of stories, it's really not the story, it's how you tell your story. Are you a
Yeah.
victim? Are you a hero? Are you proud of not even what you went through, but that you went through it?
Yes.
I mean, someone could say, yeah, I mean, it was awful. I was awful. It was, you know, and that's where reinvention can come in. That's where redemption shows up. It's,
Mhm.
yeah, I was at the worst place and I was the worst person in that place. But that's where I started to move away from. And now,
Mhm.
because of what it took to unglue myself, I had enough momentum to spring way beyond where I would have been if nothing would have happened to me. I would have been too satisfied. I would have been too comfortable to change, to evolve. So, you know, it's always not how much you make, it's who you become. And if you're becoming better, if you're becoming happier, and in most cases it's related to things that you never thought would bring happiness in exchange for the things that everybody seems to never get enough of, but they're never happy with whatever they have,
Mhm.
right? So you know, if you start with yourself, find somebody like yourself who's on that journey, and that's what we're doing here. That's why you connect first,
Yep.
then you communicate second, and then you collaborate third, right? And I think then you cultivate, and you want to show interest in people. You want to do whatever it takes to stay in their consciousness. And eventually, once you honor them enough, they'll want to come back again. You
Mm.
know, I think that's important because everybody's attracted to scarcity, things that are rare, things that are unique. People savor, people really do all kinds of stuff for. If you look at art pieces or jewelry pieces, what they'll bid and where they'll go, you know, and I believe that the bigger gift that I see happening is changing lives for the better. You know, this is really a quality of life opportunity, not just a financial opportunity, because the financial side is whatever you're applying this to. If
Mhm.
you have a financial direction, well, maybe it's a volunteer direction you bring this to. maybe if it's just content and thought leadership that people just want to share their stuff with people they think can benefit from it. And that's where theming something comes in. That's
Yeah.
where relating, aligning. So, Kelly, you've got a brilliant marketing and business mind, but you also have a loving heart. Isn't it great when you can somehow create something that allows both to flourish?
Yes. I mean, so much so. And Harvey,
Oh, yeah,
hi.
you can't forget Harvey. I know Harvey said he was going to stop in for a minute.
Con is here too. Merry Christmas, Con.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, we got our group. So
yeah.
Harvey with Kelly and Con, we're originators of our collaboration working group every other Thursday. Harvey, I can't tell you enough about Harvey as much as I try, just like Kelly. It's great to have people that you could scream their name from the roof and not feel embarrassed, you know? So hoping you're enjoying your Christmas, Harvey, because I know this is dinner time and it's a lot different than 9 o'clock out west time. But you're a gift, Harvey, and we look forward to sharing and coming back a year from now and saying, remember a year ago where we were and now that's
Yes.
going to happen. Uh, so Con comes back with Merry Christmas, Kelly and Don. And Con is one of the nicest
Yes. Oh my gosh.
professionals I've met on LinkedIn who is really doing stuff, exciting stuff, and helping so many people. And again, a quality heart. Harvey comes back and says, Kelly, what an incredible and beautiful story. Uh, and that's why we tell these stories, to be honest, because people seem to appreciate and value them, and that validates us and validates the people in our story. I can't tell you how many grandparents I've gotten to meet and parents of people on the show, with stories of when they were younger and got advice or certain habits they had or certain things that made them laugh. Life is short, but there's so much you can do with it, right?
Oh,
Sit around and complain when you could be active and having fun. But that's the beauty of it too. Con says, Merry Christmas, thank you so much. So Kelly, who knew having a show like this would be so kind of sentimental in a way? Uh,
yes, it always is, like with everyone, and it goes to the whole thing of what you've been talking about really the whole time at the core is the gift of connection, of human connection, and really connecting with people, not just a number on your profile, but truly connecting with people. And this has also been talked about quite a bit lately with other guests as well. Is this year for me has been so much more about meaningful connections, uh, and and the amount of people that I have truly met and have become friends um, is beyond what I had done. I've been on LinkedIn since what 2008, I think, when it started, um, and this year has been the most impactful because of the connections, the true meaningful connections, and doing LinkedIn Lives. I mean, which has been such a gift for me. And for those of you that may not know, it was something I was praying about the end of last year. I just wasn't feeling I was living in my purpose quite loud enough. The irony now that I sit in front of a microphone, but also I just wasn't feeling fulfilled, and I was feeling very disconnected from a lot of things. And this has been such a change and a gift to my life for so many reasons, because every person that I'm so blessed to be able to call friend now, and like you said, the stories that are shared, so heartfelt, and not being and I think, to go back to the whole thing, and I'm sorry to turn it back into sales, y'all, but it is LinkedIn. And people who have stories that are salesy, because you can tell it's that authentic, genuine connection that you feel with people because they share their stories so authentically, and it's not about a transaction, that it's truly about a connection. And it feels strange to say that that's an old school practice because it shouldn't be. It should be an everyday practice. You don't know people by what you get in your inbox. You know, what I refer to on the regular as a pitch slap, which is one of my least favorite things about LinkedIn. Um, but connecting with people, because even if you're not someone that we can do business with, I think about, my God, I am so blessed for the people I have connected with. I have been able to connect that have been on other people's shows or other people's series or whatever it is. We may not be able to do business together, but man, I think you're an incredible human, and I know someone that can help you as well. And the gift of true networking. Um, because I agree with you, Donna. I won't stand on the rooftops and scream, many people's names unless I really know them. So, because you do want to be sure that you're representing people that are reflective of who you are, because that is an extension of you. So if you refer somebody and they're like, "Well, this was the worst web developer I've ever had in my entire life," and you referred them, it's going to be a reflection on you, not the web developer. And I'm not bashing on web developers. It's just first thing that came to my mind right now. So, I mean, what a gift! You've got access to 1 billion people. And guess what? A lot of them are not going to align with you. But I can truly say the gift of LinkedIn this year, the top, I'll say my top three. Christy Howard I've known her for 15 years through LinkedIn, but this year we became the closest of friends. I can't imagine my life without her. I adore her to pieces. And she's a safe place for me to land. We all need that in our life. And of course, Dawn, it's always going to go back to you, Dawn Cohen, because without you, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And you believing in me sometimes when I didn't believe in myself, and that's a true gift. And I do want to say Harvey Tuck, because Harvey, man, you're a gift in so many ways. So supportive, such a just another gift. I mean, of true friendship. And I think that's so hard to find. And when you do, you need to treat it like a gift. And I will say, everyone that has been on this show, on the regular, in the audience, or on this side, has also in some way impacted, and this is where I do think I can speak for you, Dawn, has impacted both of us in such a positive way, because everybody's stories matter. So those are my thoughts right now.
I mean, you just keep getting better thoughts and expressing them in more beautiful ways. And I think it's important to recognize, be aware, make other people aware,
Yeah.
and to understand that along the way, we've both been lost as we travel, and we've both been found along the way as we travel. So as long as everybody's taking a step into the unknown where someone hasn't been or hasn't done, the company of that extra person or that special person makes everybody want to take that step, because you're experiencing something with somebody.
Yeah.
Right? How much of a celebration can you have when it's just you versus someone who was part of your success and can share it and now build on it, because it's always continuing. Wherever you are is only going to be there for a moment, and then you're going to have to be somewhere next.
Right.
And if you can continue to navigate that direction and bring a bunch of friends, I mean, everybody is living in the waiting room of something right now. What are you going to do to enjoy the time, and who are you going to have fun with? right?
Yeah.
This is a playground in essence, if it's not taken too seriously, if someone doesn't have to be too responsible, if people can get a little looser, more comfortable, and not be ashamed of being who they are,
That's
and
right.
know everybody's a work in progress to a point. And I think as people allow other people, those people allow those people.
Hmm.
And I think that's the answer to more peace and harmony, is allowing people to be who they are if they don't bother people. And they have, like you say, a story. Everybody has importance. Like you say, a 3-year-old can have more profound
So
things to say than a 90-year-old. And there's 90-year-olds who are so wise that they never go out of style, that their
true.
wisdom is always valuable. So, I think changing lenses, people get their eyes checked all the time. Do they get their mindset checked? Do they get their judgment checked? And usually, just like an optometrist, they say one or two, A or B, and they keep flipping the lenses. And finally, yeah, that focuses. And I think that's where a gift to yourself is doing a review of what's working, what's making you happy, what could make you happy. And if you use happiness as a guide, it's an equal currency that everybody values, appreciates, and will be happy to conduct whatever relationship it is. And it's imagination, the beauty of live streaming. Because I've done LinkedIn every day for 4 years. I was doing posting every day 2.5 years before I did live streaming, and that's a much more unsatisfying game, because you're just punching out things, and every day you got to think of something. Where if you flip the switch and you just hear a story and
Yeah.
relate to that story, it's seamless, it's easy, and all you can do is all you can do, and it's the people you're with. So, with that said, Harvey says, I feel the same. Thank you. Have to fly now, but you're both gifts to me. I'm so excited about where we are next year. True friends, I'm proud and honored to be part of your lives and your journeys have. And how many really, really good friends that care about you. Not so much what can they do for you, but they know your happiness, your safety, your good health is something at the top of their mind, way beyond whatever goes on LinkedIn. And, Harvey and Kelly and a few others have really taken the time to want to elevate to this level. And there's more room for more people if you can transcend, the me into the we, and to wanting to be as helpful as you can, because you need as much help as you can get too. But you got to
Yeah.
give, and you got to keep giving until you're recognized, until you're appreciated. But that ticket in can be a long, long ticket. And
Yeah.
then,
And I think the important part that I mean, there's so many important things that you said there, but I think, it should always be from the point of view of we, because me does not read well, in that sense. And I think that's part of where we do start to find that true happiness, or maybe things that we weren't sure of, that we didn't feel. Maybe maybe we were feeling a little empty on certain things, but it is when you have a perception of the world is, what can I do for others, when it's about a purpose that's bigger than you. That is where I feel, at least for me, where I feel the purpose of me feels bigger, um, than doing it of me. Oh, if I accomplish this, because they're external things looking for happiness, and then Lord knows, I'm sure we all have done that. I know I have. And those don't bring happiness when we're looking at externally to find happiness. It is when we're looking to bring happiness to others where I feel like it comes into light. And it seems so simple, but it's a hard thing, I think, for a lot of folks because we're always looking for a destination of happiness, an external thing, instead of this internal, truly simplicity of being selfless to give to others and help others, of how that fills your heart is just, it's immeasurable. Like you can't, it almost feels selfish. Like truthfully, I used to say that about doing charity work, um, and mentoring, is that how it filled me with so much joy that it almost felt selfish. But it's because we're giving to others, and I think that's what gives us back the most. Instead of looking for what can I do to make me feel happy.
Well, yeah, that all makes perfect sense. And what we're really focused on is access. We have access that was never available before. Yeah, and here's Beverly. Can't forget Beverly. Beverly is just another
Yes.
gift, and I'm glad Beverly's here. Really late, but on time. Merry Christmas. You're both a gift. And you know what I've seen, and I'm sure Kelly and Harvey and Beverly, is you connect with people that over time you learn to admire certain qualities about them, certain ways about them that make you happier for them being in your lives and you being in their lives and feeling grateful that they think about you the way you think about them. And because of that commonality and knowing you got to give to get, you got to earn to receive, you have to work,
Yeah.
at everything. Even at fun, you have to work at it to make sure you have enough fun, that you schedule it, that you favor yourself sometimes. And when you're in the best shape, you're in the best shape for everybody who's in that circle,
Yeah.
right? I mean, how many groups get all dressed up and they meet once a week at a restaurant, or they got a gin club or a bridge club, and that's the highlight of their week, right? That's what they're
Younger people, when he says gin, he's not talking about alcohol. He's
no,
talking
fucking rummy.
about
But I think that's so important, is to have somebody's a group. And actually, by having your own show, you have your own reason for being, because it's guaranteed not to be just about you because of the guest. If it was just the Don show, I mean, it wouldn't be much of a show, and it wasn't. I have a couple Don shows that lasted 8 minutes and were totally little challenging. But you say, okay, now this is what we're working with. I mean, wherever you start, that's where it is. And you can say, well, it's not that good or this and that. Well, you're absolutely right. But that's where it's going to go from. You
yeah.
know, you got to have a before picture if you want to have a really cool after picture. And you just got to set out on that journey, knowing it's one step at a time, one person at a time. And if you really work at being the best you can be, it'll stretch you to make you better than you would have been.
And I think another key component of that, and this is again speaking from me, is doing the lives has allowed me not to, being in a marketing space where I worked in financial services, particularly in alternative investments, capital markets, and private equity. Everything did have to be perfect before it went to market, for lack of a better term. All I's had to be dotted and T's to be crossed, and 15 people in the legal department, FINRA had to review, etc. But doing lives, it's kind of broken my corporate America me, for lack of a better term, because it's made me find who I am and be okay with who I am. Like, hey, if I say something, because I've watched many an episode and I'm like, oh, I didn't say that right. And meaning like, oh, that's not what I meant. I said it incorrectly. But it's accepting that, because we're human and we're not perfect, and accepting the imperfections of ourself and being comfortable with who we are, and being okay with, hey, guess what? I'm not for everybody, and that's all right. That's perfectly okay. But who I am for, that's wonderful. And looking at who the people. One of the things my parents used to say when I was growing up, if you want to know where you are in life, is look at the people who are closest around you, because that's a reflection of where you are. And I can truly say, right at this moment, as I look around, not just at the people that I have closest at my core as friends and family, but the people that I have met this year on LinkedIn, you, Don, being one of them, um, and the people that I do have around me that I talk to regularly and that we look to for whether it's business advice or um, just general information on other things, I look at that and I'm like, man, I am so blessed. And what a gift each and every one of these people who are in my life. And Beverly, because you're on the screen, you are definitely one of them. For so many reasons individually. And I do encourage everyone. I think the end of the year tends to be a time for people to be like, oh, I didn't accomplish XYZ, because we had all of these things at the beginning of the year that we were going to do. I didn't lose that 15 pounds, or I didn't get those, additional 20 clients that I wanted to get, whatever it is. Focus on what you did accomplish, because I believe that you're always shocked when you look back and go, oh my God, I did that. Because again, my example will be, because it's a great example for this year. If you would have told me this time last year, I would have done well over 100 LinkedIn lives, and I would have connected with some of the people that I've connected with, and had some of the guests that I've had on mine and Christy's show, The Awesome Journey. I would have said you were out of your mind. Not because I don't think I can accomplish what I put my mind to, but I just probably would have been like, I'm not seeing that happen. And the change in one choice, one decision of, sure, Dawn, I'll go live in 2 days with you, terrifying inside, and how that one choice has changed my life and has been such a gift. And I know so many other people can say the same thing. And I feel like I need to wind back around to what I started off with, because Don Cohen, we all believe that everyone on LinkedIn is 6 degrees of separation from you, because you are just a gift to so many of us and have been an inspiration, a motivation, and a continue. The word you came up with the other day, which I absolutely love, co-elevation, which is fantastic, because that's you. You see things in people that sometimes I don't think we see in ourselves. And you so selflessly lift others up to be more than maybe they even thought. And that is a gift. And you are a gift. And I'm so grateful to call you friend. And now I'm going to tear up because I haven't yet today. And that's a kind of a gift in and of itself. But you are truly a blessing to so many of us. And I'm so grateful again to call you friend, and blessed for this journey that we have been on this year. And I'm so excited for what 2024 has in store for us.
Well, I mirror those same words back to you. And what's really so gratifying is being the first one of something. Being at a 1-year-old's birthday party and seeing them blow the candle for the first time and a new experience, or riding a bike and bringing people onto their own show is so cool, because you remarked so many times, remember how scared they were or intimidated when they got on? And towards the end, everybody was yucking it up and having a good time. Well, that's a gift when you can take people like Dave Snell, Harvey, you name them,
Yes.
right? And never had a show, never thought they could do a show, never thought they even wanted a show. And all of a sudden, what happens, their world changes because the people around them change.
Yeah.
And now they're doing something important, right? Now families like, wow, they're into that. I had an experience. My son gifted us with a visit for a week. And while he was here, has just an unbelievable, wonderful, significant other, went to a friend's house that he hadn't seen since high school. And his friend says, "Hey, John, I just want you to know I just was listening to your dad's Hour of Empower. I thought it was great, you know?" And I said, "Well, how many people don't we ever see in the audience who don't comment, who don't share anything, but are just there?" And it's
Mhm.
like 8 or 9 times more than the ones that comment.
Yeah.
So we're thinking, this is it. We're not thinking about what it can be. And the other point you make that is fabulous is this is just getting started.
Yes.
Usually when you have these kind of feelings, it's after a mission is accomplished, after you got part of a team and you did a major project. We're not even scratching the scratch yet. You
Mhm.
know, there is so much more, and it took so long to get momentum. It took so long to figure out how to be the best you can at doing this and making them people the best they can at doing it and inviting people to
Yeah.
trust themselves.
Yep.
Experience, it's us. We're not gonna take you a boat ride and see it drowned. I mean, if anything, we're gonna protect you on the show, and nobody really needs it. And actually, I'll be honest, and I'm sure Kelly will agree, we got people come on the show that on paper make us look like we don't even exist.
Oh, yeah.
With their adventures and their stories, but when they come on the show, they're dependent on us just like the person they were on a mission with,
Yeah.
to make it safe, to make it right, to do the good things for them. And I think that's what's important too, is we're spreading the feelings, not just the topics, not the monetization plan, but how
Yeah.
you can bring goodness to this world in a way that has never been available before. And how much fun could that be to find purpose? I mean, I know in my life, I thought I had all the waves I was going to catch. I look back at all the wonderful things I was able to be part of and who I was part of, and to get a third wave that's so much better than the first two because, first of all, it's unexpected,
Yeah.
and the second thing is, as you get older, there's a tendency to subtract more than you add. Right? There's more people leaving, friends, family as you keep getting older. When you can now get a whole new flow of today's friends and family that are ready to be friends and family and want to join forces, that's going to make you young for a lot longer. That's going to make you relevant. And, that's going to make you feel needed. And I think on Christmas, and that was my poll today, who's going to be spending time with family today, is if you don't have family, you are mistaken in not appreciating the family you do have that has included you before you've accepted or understood them. And I think that's to Kelly's point. If you got somebody that you'd like to talk to make yourself feel better, even, you
Yeah.
know, then do that. And if you have somebody that you could make feel better and make yourself, then do that too. Or do whatever you want to celebrate who you are and where you are. And remember, tomorrow is the first day of everybody's life, and what you choose to do with it, who you choose to do it with. And if me, Kelly, I could speak for Harvey, Beverly, we always have an open ear. We always have a few extra minutes. So don't ever feel like there's no one cares. It might sound sympathetic to yourself for a while, but I'm just wanting the best for everybody because we have that potential. So with that said, thank you very much. I can't thank you enough, and that's why I keep coming back every day. And I can't thank Kelly enough because there's nobody anywhere I'd love to spend Christmas morning on a live stream with than Kelly. So she was a
Mm.
true gift. And all of you for joining and sharing. So thank you. And we'll talk again tomorrow. Tomorrow, if it's Tuesday, it's Beverly. So see everybody.